Hey everyone, welcome back to Bible Insights. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to explore something truly fascinating, the Fibonacci sequence, a pattern found in nature and how it might connect to the Bible's teachings about the design and order of creation. We often think of math and science as separate from faith, but when we look closely, we can see that both the Bible and the natural world speak of the same Creator. So, how does the Fibonacci sequence show us the wisdom of God's design? Let's dive in. Let's start with the Fibonacci sequence. It's a simple yet powerful number pattern. The sequence begins like this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and so on. Each number is the sum of the two previous numbers. So 1 plus 1 equals 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, and so on. This sequence shows up in many unexpected places in nature. For example, if you look at a pine cone, the spiral patterns of the seeds follow this sequence. Or if you look at the petals of flowers, often you'll find numbers like 3, 5, 8, or 13, all Fibonacci numbers. Even the shape of galaxies or the growth of tree branches follow this same pattern. It's as if the world around us is quietly speaking a mathematical language. But how does this relate to the Bible? Well, the Bible speaks a lot about God's creation, and it emphasizes that the world was made with wisdom and order. In Genesis 1:1 we read, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Right from the start, the Bible teaches us that the universe was created intentionally, not by chance. It was designed by a creator who has wisdom and understanding. In Proverbs 3:19 it says, "The Lord by wisdom founded the earth, by understanding he established the heavens." God's wisdom is reflected in his creation. And when we look at the patterns in nature like the Fibonacci sequence, it's like we're seeing a part of his divine wisdom woven into the fabric of the universe. Let's look at some examples in nature where we can see the Fibonacci sequence. One famous example is the sunflower. If you look at the seeds in the center of a sunflower, you'll see that they grow in spirals, and those spirals follow the Fibonacci pattern. Another great example is the pine cone. If you count the spirals on a pine cone, you'll find that the number of spirals matches the Fibonacci sequence as well. You can also find Fibonacci patterns in the petals of flowers. Many flowers have 3, 5, 8, or 13 petals. Again, these are all Fibonacci numbers. Even in the natural world, like in the shells of snails or the spiral of galaxies, we see this pattern repeating itself. And what does this tell us? It suggests that there's a deeper order in creation. That's not just random. The Bible tells us in Psalm 19:1, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." These patterns in nature, from the tiniest flower to the largest galaxy, reflect the glory and wisdom of the Creator. The Fibonacci sequence, which we find in nature, points to a design that is both beautiful and purposeful. We've seen that the Fibonacci sequence appears in many natural objects, and these patterns show us that creation isn't chaotic. It's organized, it's structured, and it follows a pattern. This reflects what the Bible teaches about God's nature. God is a God of order, not confusion. In 1 Corinthians 14:33 it says, "For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace." In a world full of chaos and unpredictability, these natural patterns give us a sense of peace and order. They remind us that there's a higher intelligence behind the design of the universe. It's not all random. God has created everything with intention, and he has woven beauty and harmony into the fabric of life itself. The Fibonacci spiral, for example, is not just an abstract idea. It's seen in things like the shape of a seashell or the way a plant grows. These spirals follow the same proportions that mathematicians and scientists use to describe harmony and balance. This order is part of God's design in creation. So, what does all of this mean for us? The Fibonacci sequence in nature is not just a coincidence. It's a sign of God's creative power and wisdom. In Romans 1:20, the Bible says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made." God's fingerprints are all over creation. The patterns we see in nature, like the Fibonacci sequence, point us to the reality of a creator who designed everything with great care and purpose. These mathematical patterns are a reminder that we are not here by chance. The world is full of order and beauty because God is a God of order and beauty. The Fibonacci sequence is just one example of the many ways we can see God's wisdom in creation. Whether it's in the shape of a spiral, the arrangement of petals, or the growth of a tree, these patterns tell a story of design. And that design points us back to God, the Creator who made everything with purpose and intention. When we understand the Fibonacci sequence and see it in the world around us, we're reminded that our God is a God of order, beauty, and wisdom. This encourages us in our faith, knowing that we are part of a wonderfully designed creation. As Psalm 104:24 says, "How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all." Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you've been inspired by the way the Fibonacci sequence in nature points to the incredible design of our Creator. The next time you see a flower, a pine cone, or even a shell, take a moment to appreciate the beauty and order in God's creation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And feel free to leave a comment below. What examples of the Fibonacci sequence have you noticed in nature? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and may you be blessed with peace and awe as you discover more of God's wonderful creation.